Welcome back, adventurer. Today we'll be chopping some heads off and maybe they'll grow back. You may feel, now or in the future, that these meditation tracks, or the things you discover within them, are cyclical, repetitive, that they keep coming back to the same thing. I'm making these tracks repetitive on purpose. The difficulty of meditation is not about learning new information or understanding more and more challenging ideas. The difficulty of meditation is about consistency, about strengthening positive habits of thought. In some sense, meditation is an attempt to move things from your head down into your body. Interesting quotes you've heard, or ideas like, I want to be more present. I want to be kinder. I want to be more focused. It's easy to hear these things and think, oh yes, that sounds wonderful. But it is harder to practice them, to train them to become your first response, especially when things are difficult. To learn lessons like these, it's not enough to simply understand the idea or to recognize how you could behave differently. To learn lessons like these, you have to practice by setting aside time and space to really let them sink in, to allow these lessons to become more natural for you. And then, over time and with patience, they can become a part of who you are. At the same time, as today's episode reminds us, sometimes the things we want aren't actually the things that will serve us best, aren't the things we need, or simply don't turn out the way we hope. Which is why another part of meditation is accepting whatever comes up. It's fine to have these intentions or desires, to be more patient, to have more perspective, to have more kindness for yourself. I believe that all of these are possible with a consistent meditation practice. And in my experience, meditation is one of the most effective ways to go about making these kinds of changes. But if we come to our practice too determined, too attached, then we may not find what we're looking for and might actually encounter the opposite first. There have been times that meditation has increased my feelings of impatience, made me more agitated or more frustrated. Sometimes things get worse before they get better. And when we meditate, we are tuning in more closely to what is actually going on in our experience. We're kind of examining what lies under the surface. And as we're all aware, life isn't always sunshine and roses. And the same is true for our inner world. When we turn our attention to what's going on inside ourselves, it won't always be joyous or easy. But just because it may be difficult, it can still be very valuable. And I believe that, in time, these practices will create more space, more peace, more acceptance for you just as you are. Or I wouldn't be making these meditations. To put this another way, meditation, like life or hanging out with friends, requires balance. And when we think of balance, sometimes we imagine a set of scales or a tower of carefully stacked cards. We imagine something which is perfectly still and not moving, something at rest. The balance of our lives, though, and of our meditation practice, is a more dynamic or fluid kind of balance. Because every day is different, so the circumstances for ourselves are different. We are different. And so the balance we move towards in meditation is one which accepts fluidity and constant change. A better image for this kind of balance might be riding a bike. You can't stay balanced on a bike simply by finding some perfect center. You have to be moving forward. And it requires constant adjustment, first to the left, then to the right, and back again. Kind of pendulum-like, always swinging back and forth of center. When we first learn this process, it is tremendously difficult. We are likely to fall and scratch our legs or break an arm or something. And it can also be difficult when we are distracted, especially if we're talking to a worm about the difficulty of dividing time and attention between our best friend and our girlfriend. When we're distracted, we might lose our sense of balance and go flying off into a tree. But over time, with practice and focus and determination, It can become second nature. You still have to make constant adjustments. The balance is never stagnant or perfectly still, but your body begins to keep the balance without thinking, or with less thinking, and you can then turn more of your attention towards enjoying the sunset, or watching out for cars, or feeling the wind rush past. And what we are doing with this time together is learning this balance, with repetition and constant adjustment. We are moving from the image in our minds about who we want to be, people feeling fancy and free, into the practical, into the real. And there may be some discomfort along the way, but this discomfort doesn't mean you're failing. It might actually mean you're learning how to better keep your balance. All right, enough out of me. Let's get into it. So here at the beginning, we are looking for that balanced posture. Maybe you're settling in a bit more and have some sense of what a good posture is for you. Maybe you don't, and you're still playing around with different ones. Either is fine. This process is dynamic, which means that it will change. But generally, we are looking for a balance of alert and relaxed. We want to be able to let our body rest, to give our muscles a break. They work so hard to keep us up and moving for so much of the day. In this time, we can give some of our weight back to the earth, to the ground or sofa or cushion or whatever is supporting you, trusting that it will support you, that you can rest here, at least for a moment. And this also gives our nervous system a break, slows down the system, lets your body come off high alert. Or at least that's the idea. If you can't relax, that's also totally fine. This is only our 9th time doing this, and even if it was our 900th time, there are so many legitimate reasons for your body to struggle relaxing. So if you can't relax, just notice that. But if you can relax, notice that, and see if you can invite a bit more relaxation into the space. Can your face soften? Can your jaw unclench? Can your shoulders drop, even a millimeter? See if there's anything in your body you can let go of. And alertness. Maybe seems like the opposite of relaxation, but they actually really support and help one another. They create that dynamic balance we're looking for. We want to be alert because we want to encounter ourselves, to greet ourselves and whatever comes up. Perhaps alert sounds like too strong of a word for you, and aware or energized sounds better. The word itself doesn't really matter. We're just calling attention to that quality within ourselves that is already alive and aware. We aren't trying to force it to be larger than it is, though we might adjust our posture a bit and invite some more of it to join, if it would like. Maybe straighten the spine a bit, but not over-straightened. We aren't arching the back. Just allowing it to come into an upright, natural posture, the one our bodies have evolved to support us. Or maybe you want to try standing up if you're really sleepy, or sitting up if you're lying down. But here again, the quality and direction of our attention is what we care about most. Whatever posture we are in, we are aware that we are in that position. Probably more aware than we were before the bell rang. We aren't just sitting. We also know that we are sitting. We aren't just lying down. We also know that we are lying down. We aren't just breathing. We know that we are breathing, which we often do unthinkingly. It just sort of happens. But right now, we are noticing it. Maybe we can feel our heartbeat, or some warmth, or some tingling, or an itch. It doesn't matter what we notice or what comes up, but we notice it. Whatever we can notice, we do. We don't just have a body, we are aware that we have a body. Maybe we can even smile at our body, give it a little thanks and love for all it does to support us every day. So we are working toward this balance of aware and relaxed. But in the spirit of our episode today, it can be easy to get caught up in wanting even more balance than we currently have. If we feel more alertness, we might fantasize about what better meditators we might be if we could just relax more. Or if we are really relaxed, we might find ourselves thinking, damn, I really wish I could be more attentive to what's going on right now, instead of my body just drifting off in whichever direction it's determined to go. In either case, just notice that dissatisfaction. That voice that's telling you that the grass is greener on the other side, that you would be happier if things were different. And see if you can't make a little space for how things are right now. How you're at the beginning of this journey, and it's okay that your balance is off kilter. Recognizing that is actually the first step to figuring out what, if anything, you might like to try to change it. But sometimes there is greater risk in getting what we want. Sometimes our wishes come true, and we aren't actually all that happy with how they turn out. Or maybe you relate more to the episode today in that you just feel utterly stupid sitting here, letting life pass you by, hanging out on the sidelines, just sitting when you could be fighting lake monsters. You feel some fear of missing out on all the things you could be doing right now. You don't think this meditation thing is for you, and you'd rather be hanging out with your best friend, or your girlfriend, or both. That's also totally fine, and we can welcome that too. Hey, boredom, dissatisfaction, feelings of stupidity, welcome to the party. See if you can't notice any new feelings that come up from boredom this time. You've felt boredom before, but this time you aren't just bored. You're bored and you know that you're bored. Maybe this is all pretty stupid, but see how stupidity feels. What does it feel like in your body? Maybe a foot tapping, leg bouncing, kind of agitated. Or a thought racing, I can't wait till this is over. What am I going to have for dinner? When can I go back to playing my video games? Kind of boredom. See if you can't just give yourself permission to let all that be there. As Finn says, let's always be stupid, forever. Though, luckily, even if it feels like it, this won't go on forever. In fact, we're almost done for now. So see if you can't just see how stupidly meditating feels different from all the other things you do in a day. Are the feelings of dissatisfaction, discontentment, agitation louder than they usually are? Or perhaps they're quieter. You're finding some space for other things. You're appreciating being able to unplug for a moment. You're noticing the way they pass by on their own. How even the most uncomfortable of thoughts go away with time. Again, whatever you experience, it is totally okay, and we welcome it as it is. As we wind this meditation down, let's take one big, deep breath. Really feel the breath as much as you can. See if there's anything you want to savor or remember that you noticed from this time. Or if not, that's okay too. Maybe smile or give yourself a hug or a pat on the back. Or set an intention to make yourself a cup of tea or get a candy bar. some small gesture of kindness you can extend to yourself for trying something new, even if it isn't going well or isn't what you expected. All right, and that's it for now. I'm so proud of you and grateful for you sticking with this, even this long. So many things compete for our time and attention these days, and I think it's remarkable that you're investing in yourself in this way. May you find a bit more balance as you move throughout your day, and if you can't, may you at least find a bit more space to accept that you're doing the best you can. Till next time, fellow adventurer.